Okay, so the legal side of this, Mattereum was set up basically to provide a way of accurately getting information about assets so that you could then accurately price them. And the mechanism for doing that is a thing called a product information market. You have a market for information about a product, you buy a warranty on the information when you buy the information, and if the information turns out to be inaccurate, you make a claim against what essentially is a warranty, or in future versions could be an insurance product. If they refuse to pay the claim, you need to be able to make that enforceable, so it has to be done as a legal contract. You also have to have some kind of hard asset to enforce against. So in an ideal world, you tokenize a bunch of real estate, you lock those tokens into escrows on chain, and then you make those escrows accessible to an arbitrator so that in the event of a legal claim against the provider of the information about the product, you can then exercise the award function by simply transferring ownership of some tokens from one party to another using these escrow contracts. And that as a machinery should result in the ability to do stable governance and stable rule of law under almost any set of circumstances, as long as you've got the assets on chain and you've got some access to an arbitrator. Now, I mean, I don't want to, say like, oh, well, in a kind of full-scale apocalyptic doomer scenario, that kind of structure would hold. But you could get really a lot of economic disruption before those kinds of structures would completely collapse. It's not at all unreasonable to think that real estate registers would be the last thing to go, and the blockchain itself is extremely durable. So you can kind of imagine a situation where durable blockchain real estate ledgers become the backbone of society while the fiat ecosystem completely decompresses. And, I don't think that's at all unrealistic. The structures which are hardest in society are real estate ledgers, and those things often go back 800, 1,000, 1,200 years, and, they've survived fires, they've survived plagues, they've survived multiple world wars, they're still intact. There's no reason not to think that property ledgers will not survive basically anything. And then if you could figure out how to make those things easily exchangeable and tradable and so on top of that, you begin to start talking about a really solid civilizational backbone. And Mattereum's approaches have always been built with this in mind. I used to be a failed states guy working for government in a couple of different places. You kind of put all those pieces together, and I think that as an approach, I would say Mattereum now is kind of where Bitcoin was in, say, 2014. It's just at the beginning of people beginning to understand why this is necessary.